On this episode of Just Informed Talk, just as Q predicted, President Trump has ordered the declassification of the 20 redacted page out of the FISA memo and much more. Plus, I can tell you exactly how we knew, given Q told us about this months ago to the exact date. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, everybody, if you want to get involved with this channel, the best way to do it, if you haven't already, is to come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. And I'm just so thankful to everybody who has hit that button. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. In tonight's episode, we're actually going to cover the fact that we here on the Q boards, the people who have been studying this information for quite a while, knew this was coming, and Q told us exactly what would happen. Now, here we are going to start. This is the latest spot for the new Q posts. These are the ones we went over in the last video. If you guys want to get caught up to where we're at, come to this landing page. Watch this last video. It's got incredible information. All these videos do. Go all the way back. Watch as many as you can. This is a great interview I did with an FCC insider who's exposing the fact that the IRS is enabling identity theft and fraud. And if you're scratching your head going, what's QAnon and what's this guy talking about? Please come here, watch this video, share it with your friends. It gives you all the information you need on what QAnon is, how to get involved with the research, and where to find all that information. So with that being said, we're going to go right into the latest Q post without any more delay. And so the first thing we have here is, of course, this post from Q, where the first link is to the whitehouse.gov website, where we can see here the statement from the press secretary as of today, September 17th, 2018. And it reads, "At the request of a number of committees of Congress and for reasons of transparency, the President has directed the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and the Department of Justice, including the FBI, to provide for the immediate declassification of the following materials. 1. Pages 10 through 12 and 17 through 34 of the June 2017 application to the FISA court in the matter of Carter W. Page. 2. All FBI reports of interviews with Bruce G. Orr prepared in connection with the Russian investigation. 3. All FBI reports of interviews prepared in connection with all Carter Page FISA applications. In addition, President Donald J. Trump has directed the Department of Justice, including the FBI, to publicly release all text messages relating to the Russia investigation without redaction of James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Bruce Orr." So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the President of the United States making a executive order to give us the information that we have so sought for so long. And I can tell you why this date was chosen, because there's a specific set of circumstances that had to come into play in order to make this possible, and I'll explain exactly what I'm talking about right up here. So this is a post from May 21st. So months ago, 4 months ago, you have Q coming to us and telling us this post, and we're going to read it. So it says, "Military operation, green in the kill box, metaphorical, brackets with bold. General Kelly, JFK, John F. Kelly," I think that's his name exactly. "Full disclosure, general statement. Once the extremely guarded and highly classified information is finally revealed to House investigators, Department of National Intelligence, public, etc., Rod Rosenstein must recuse or forcefully terminate it. Rod Rosenstein problems. What was Rod Rosenstein's Senate confirmation vote? Ray reports to Rod Rosenstein. Important fact. Who do you trust? Rod Rosenstein recuse, refired. Who has direct oversight of Mueller? Sessions unrecuse or number 3 until refill. Who is Rachel Brand? Why was Rachel Brand dismissed? Think timing. The succession question is actually a bit complicated by default. Under an obscure statute known as the Vacancies Reform Act of 1998, Brand's temporary successor as the acting Associate Attorney General is her principal deputy, Jesse Panuccio. That same statute would also allow the president to choose someone else to serve as the acting Assistant or Associate Attorney General on a temporary basis for up to 210 days. The pool of individuals from which the president could draw in this case includes individuals already holding Senate-confirmed positions elsewhere in the executive branch, like EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt or senior civil service lawyers in the Justice Department, specifically, quote-unquote, acting. Then it says, it gives the Justice Department's website here, where it actually shows us that it is Jesse Panuccio, who is the acting Associate Attorney General of the United States up till, you guessed it, today. Yeah, that's right, folks. from the time that Rachel Brand actually stepped down and took her position over at Walmart. It was, and we'll read the rest. It says, when does the clock run out? Why is Schneiderman's removal extremely relevant? Trust name. These people are stupid. D5Q. Trust Sessions, I think. And what we have to think about is exactly what I was just pointing out. Okay, so this guy, Jesse Panuccio, the way I'm understanding this right now, and I'm sure that you guys could correct me if I get a few of the minor details here wrong, but basically this is the gist of what we're being told. That 200-day period started the day that Rachel Brand stepped down. Who is Rachel Brand? She was the number 3 in charge at the DOJ, meaning after Jeff Sessions' recusal, then the next in line was Rod Rosenstein, and the next in line from there was Rachel Brand. So Rachel Brand stepped down, then the acting Associate Attorney General stepped up to that third ranking position, but de facto became second ranking position under Rod Rosenstein, as he is the one overseeing the Mueller investigation because, you guessed it, Jeff Sessions recused himself a long time ago. Now, that 210-day interim has officially passed as of today, or wherever you're watching this. It could be today, tomorrow, but September 18th, 2018, right? That would be 210 days from February 20th, 2018, the exact day that you see Rachel Brand step down and take her position over at Walmart. And this is why it's so important that today, or yesterday, I don't know, it's right about that time. So depending on what time zone you are, it could be a different day for you. But you have today on the 17th, or yesterday, whatever you want to call it, you have President Trump coming out and giving this executive order where he's declassifying all this information. You know why? Because President Trump realizes that, and this information that's going to be declassified, so now it's going through the process, they're going through the finalization process, who knows when the documents themselves will actually be turned over, but the order has been given. But you will see that in those documents, it will, according to the sources here, Q and others, show that Rod Rosenstein must resign because of his complete conflict of interest and his dereliction of his office in signing off on some of these FISA warrants with basically knowledge of the fact that it was basically a big phony witch hunt that was being put together with fake evidence, and the majority of the evidence was based off of a fake dossier and fake news reports that had been planted by, lo and behold, DOJ, FBI under the Obama administration. And that to me is like, that's where we're at, guys. That's why this is all falling into place like dominoes. Now, I got all that from that briefing, yes, because it's September 17th, which you guys don't forget in the last video. This is what Q told us to look out for. We're going to go back and look at this real quick. But, yeah, right here, September 15th, we have Q telling us, look at September 17th, the week of. And all we've been wanting is the declassification. So Q gave us the exact day. I wonder if the media is going to spin this that we're deranged Pizzagate on bath salts because we're getting direct information from high-level sources close to the president and probably directly with the president. So, yeah, there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, CNN. So it says, do you believe in coincidences? Obviously not. I've lost pretty much, it's funny, even when I see small things happen, I do not believe they're coincidences anymore. I'm just basically, I don't really believe in coincidence anyway because I believe everything's a part of God's plan. But if I ever had any inkling to believe in any type of coincidences, that's flown right out the window. Yeah, that's it, guys. So we've gotten everything. Now, of course, we haven't gotten everything yet. It's being, as Devin Nunes said in one of his interviews, even if President Trump signs that executive order, it actually may take a couple days for the official departments to review the final documents, because there even may be some redactions on the unredacted files, which I know that sounds crazy, but sources, methods, that kind of thing. Hopefully it won't be anything more than a couple spaces here and there, but the meat and potatoes that we need to know will get out through that. Plus, I love the fact that in the memo that President Trump put out here from the White House, it actually states here that the department has directed, or President Trump has directed the Department of Justice to publicly release all text messages relating to the Russia investigation without redaction of James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Bruce Orr. So that to me is a definite indicator that we're going to get a lot of information out of this. And it's going to prove what I think we've been speculating on here for so long. And the thing that the liberals are stuck their fingers in their ears and they're la 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 because they don't want to hear the truth about what's happening. They can't accept it. They just, all they want to do is, make up stories and tell fake news and, make mountains out of molehills when it comes to these social justice movements. And yeah, that's where we're at. So the next one says, attention on deck, memes at the ready, lock on, target, fire at will, Q. So of course, Q is telling us to meme. That means to take a picture, put text over it, and then post it online. And what that does is it gets the word out there. If you guys ever have seen a meme, it looks something like this. This is what a meme looks like. It's also could be a thumbnail for a video. But if you guys are interested in how to make memes, there's some really easy and interesting ways to go find out there. You can go to imgflip.com. It's IMGFLIP. That's a free one. You guys can use it, make your own memes. And it's really cool because if you guys want to do it, get involved. Make memes. Get a picture offline. Put some text over it and post it to your social media and keep doing it, because apparently they may be able to shadow ban your text through filters, but they may not be able to catch every meme. And if we flood them with memes, hopefully the idea is this information will be pushed to the forefront and they'll have to address it, because the reality is, look at what we're at. Look at where we're at. It's, yeah, that's where we're at. So the next one here is pretty funny. It's an Anon saying, Q, you were right all along. Emmys, red carpet, Keck, where we go one, we go all. And then one, I don't know what that is. Anyway, it says, and then Q responds to the Anon saying, Anon's picked up on the carpet bombs for you and you alone, fight, 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 Q. So what Q is referring to is the fact that Q's picked up on the carpet bombs and how there was going to be a red carpet event on Monday night. That red carpet event was the 2018 Emmys or whatever, going on tonight, yesterday, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it totally coincides, and it goes back to a post we got from Q a while ago where he said red carpet event. And you have to imagine that if we're getting these hints way back then, you'd have to think that if, and to think about this in context, remember about Rachel Brand. Remember that she left off the office February 20th, 2018. So from that day forward, they had a countdown clock of 210 days that they knew they could look to. So in that, you can actually, infer that Q knew that the day they would release this information, redact everything and release it, would be the same day that the term for Panuccio's up and that Attorney General Jeff Sessions can actually go and get reinstated to oversee this stuff. It's just brilliant and beyond brilliant, actually. It's masterful chess, if you will, which I enjoy quite thoroughly. But Q says, for you and you alone, fight, 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 Q. So it's what was made for us to give us the heads up, because it's just another confirmation of Q, another proof of Q. You guys, the doubters out there, they can say what they want, but we're laying it out, pretty concisely here, and that's what matters. So that is interesting. And the next one is a tweet from Lisa May. Yes, of course, Lisa May Crowley. She's got a great Twitter, a lot of followers. She does a lot of great work. But Lisa says this: listening to the At Larry O'Connor show on WMAL, John Solomon confirms Lisa Page and Bruce Orr have been cooperating witnesses. We, of course, already knew this. Future proves past. And then she gives this picture, which gives us a Q post where he talks about the fact that Q told us a long time ago that Bruce Orr, or that Lisa Page and Peter Strzok and all of them are cooperating witnesses, and Lisa Page, because Q was obviously connected to whatever, and they know that information, military intelligence, the White House, what have you. And they knew that. So you have Q telling us in the last, that big drop of the panic in DC, which we have another panic in DC drop today, where Q's going to give us inside information about what's going on behind the scenes. So stick around for that. But Q tells us that Lisa Page, Bruce Orr, these people are cooperating witnesses, and John Solomon is just now confirming something that we've known since at least August 29th, but I know it was well before that we got the information about Lisa Page being a cooperating witness. That must have been at least 2 or 3 months ago that we got that information. So Yeah, there you guys go. I mean, this is the level of information we're dealing with. At what point does it become mathematically impossible is a great question. When will the mainstream media cover this? Never? Oh, yeah, that's right, because they're complicit in a lot of these things. So here we go. And Anon points out the April 30th post from Q, Emmy Awards, red carpet event, Q. And there was, I think there was like a daytime Emmy Awards then on April 30th or somewhere near there. And everyone thought it was that Emmy one, right? And then it's hilarious because now you actually see on this Emmy event, whatever, 2018, on the exact day of, they announced the release of that. And Q says, "You are learning, we will not fail you." Q, so Q saying, like, look, they gave us this information. And they may have misled us in the sense, in the small sense of saying, oh, everyone assumed it was that Emmys. But look, guys, today or yesterday was the 17th, where that was the Emmys. And Q told us this was going to happen, and this is all talking about declassifying the information. So, yeah, there you go. Now we have a tweet from the White House and President Trump, where we have actually this pretty cool message from President Trump that we'll watch in a second. It is basically quoting President Trump here, where he's talking about, we are all one people, we're all part of one great American family, and we are all in this together, saluting one flag, singing one anthem, and pledging allegiance to one nation under God. And I think that's just a kind of a reaffirmation of what we do here on the boards. We don't think of anything besides the commonalities that we have and how we can come together as Americans, and in a lot of cases people from other countries, but just as citizens of the world, to say, standing up against evil, standing up against corruption, standing up against tyranny. These things have to take hold in the people, with the people, because it's by the people and for the people. It's not by the corporations for the government, so that's what this is all talking about. And actually, if you guys want to watch this video, I'm going to retweet this over on my Twitter, so you guys can definitely go and watch it over there. And that you can just come over here to Just Informed Talk at Justin_formed on Twitter. You guys can watch this video. It's a short little clip. It's just President Trump saying this and to the meeting that he was at today. But it's an affirmation for a lot of us here on the Q research side to know that the president sees the same vision that we do, and it's really heartening. It's really great, and I'm very thankful for that message. Where we go one, we go all. Yes, that is so true. Thank you, Q. Again, the Punisher symbol with pain. That one's kind of self-explanatory at this point. That means, in my opinion, that military intelligence is evolved. People will be brought to justice, and that's just what we're going to get to. Now, Arlie Army, of course, you guys know this famous scene from, I think it was Full Metal Jacket, and basically it's Army, Sarge or Gunny, whatever. He's basically yelling at the recruit that's going to end up going crazy, I think. Or not that one that says yelling, someone else, "Let me see your war face." And then Anon's posting that. It says, "This is it, lads." Then this is the response Q gives. It is this Twitter status to basically responding to Sarah A. Carter. And it's this guy, MB Moonpearl, which is like a type of pen. This guy's kind of like a pen aficionado, Mont Blanc pens, which the president uses some pretty fancy pens. I'm actually thinking about going out and buying one myself because there are really nice pens. And but it says declassify with this, and this is a picture that we got from Q, I believe, of the pen that who knows how long ago this order was signed. It could have been signed and post-dated. I don't know. But I can tell you this right now, that definitely just more confirmations, more awesomeness to see that the pen is truly mightier than the sword in this case, and we will take down these corrupt deep state, whatever you want to call them, people. So it says, do you believe in coincidences? Absolutely not. Not at all. I've given up on coincidences. Now the next one is from Q saying, "Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Goodbye, Mr. Mueller. Patriots in control, Q." And then the next one says activate sessions. Now these two can be read basically in conjunction with one another, because the fact of the matter is Q's been telling us Rosenstein's out. Q's been telling us that once the truth is revealed, Mueller's investigation will not be able to go forward. And this is what will be the outcome, I believe, once these redacted pages are turned over. And now it's only a matter of time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We are just waiting for the final T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted, and then they will be showing us the true information of what happened here, which we can piece together pretty well for ourselves based off of a lot of the circumstantial evidence that exists already. Meaning we can infer that Rod Rosenstein knew that the Steele dossier was fake, that Bruce Orr was talking to Andrew Weissman, that they were conspiring even during the investigation, and that Robert Mueller was appointed without any predicate crime being known, or really any evidence being there about President Trump and his collusion supposedly with Russia. So they started the whole investigation illegally. That is a violation of the Fourth Amendment beyond your first day law school guy could probably get that case. First day on the job after passing the bar could probably win that case if you had the evidence right there in front of you, and it's literally telling you, they completely went around the presumption of innocence in the Fourth Amendment, and they just decided to launch a spite investigation because they hated the fact that President Trump won and they lost. That's true, it would seem. So the next one here is Q giving us this great little put together. So first you have this post from September 15th where Q told us the exact day that the declassification was coming, like we just looked at. Carpet bombs, red carpet, Emmys, yep, there you go. Then this one right here from Q on April 24th where he says, when will we have Moab? And Anon asks, and Q responds, should we tell all the good people watching the day and time red carpet rollout? Think logically the world is watching Q. So another red carpet reference where Q tells us that it's going to be the enemies. I mean, jeez, how did we miss all this? I guess it's always hindsight's 2020, right? April 30th, 2018, of course, we have Q telling us Emmy Awards, red carpet event, Q. That one post in and of itself, it told us in April. So we're talking about 5 months ago. Q told us that this day was coming, and it's easy for Q to have known that because there was that 210-day window from February 20th to September 17th. And Q says, Anon's new. And yep, that's right, Q. We did. And we trusted, and we were not disappointed, even though a lot of people, it tested a lot of their resolve to believe in what's happening here. But trust me, I've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you that this is real, and we are a part of the next a great American Revolution that will change this country for the better, I believe. So here we go. The next one here is talking about the world is watching Q, and it gives this Great Awakening little tab that describes the stats there for the traffic. And this is posted on Reddit over at the Our Conspiracy thread. And what's fascinating about this to me is the simple fact that you actually can see here that the numbers, this is the reason why they had to shut down the Great Awakening over on Reddit. And I've talked about this in other videos, but look at the amount of eyes they were getting. First of all, you're talking about over 1 million unique views a month. That's crazy, right? So you have 1 million basically new different people coming in and watching this information every month. But then on top of that, you're having these page views coming in at 30 million. Okay, that's 30 million page views a month on the Reddit Awakening. Now I can tell you, like a channel like here, we don't even do near that. I mean, Just Form Talk, we're talking like 2.5 million, 3 million views a month maybe. This was getting 30 million. So of course there's a reason to shut it down when it gets too big. It gets out of control, and they have to control the information. Because like I've told you guys 100 times, it's about control of the information. They don't care about money. They could give 2 pennies less. I don't know. 2 whatever is less about the money. It's about controlling information, because they realize that no matter what, controlling the information is far more valuable than any dollar. and they're already backed by the government agencies, the whatever intel agencies, so they can get the money whether they're there or not. Talking about like Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they know that it's not about the money. It's about controlling what you think, controlling the narrative, controlling how the dissemination of information goes, and that is what it's all about. And Q's pointing this out to us once again with this incredible post story. I mean, per day they were getting 1 million page views. So look, I mean, you guys can see it right here for yourselves. The numbers speak for themselves. So, with that being said, now, we're going to get into panic in D.C. Now, Q's going to explain to us a few things that I believe are happening in real time right now that Q's giving us an update on. So first, panic in D.C. Democrats offering to metaphorical killbox bold with brackets sexual assault allegation versus Judge Kavanaugh in exchange for immediate pullback of declassification. POTUS, Judge Kavanaugh will be confirmed regardless. Q. So that one's straightforward. I mean, look, what Q's telling us is that behind the scenes, what's going on is you have the Democrats going to whoever, President Trump, Nunes, whoever, and saying, look, if you kill this or stop this whole declassification, because we know it's going to, basically show that the people that we have in those little offices controlling, they're pulling strings behind the scenes, they're going to be removed, like Rosenstein and others, and they can't have that. So they would rather allow Judge Kavanaugh to go to the Supreme Court, then to actually, but it doesn't make any sense, but I mean, then to actually have this declassified. But I think what it says here is President Trump's response is Judge Kavanaugh will be confirmed regardless, and we're not going to stop the declassification. You can pull your last minute stunt. To me, in my personal opinion, having looked at the story in its entirety, and I don't know a lot of the facts yet, and we don't know a lot of facts, so we don't want to presume innocence or guilt on either Kavanaugh or this woman who's come forward. But let's be quite honest. Look at the situation. Look at the circumstances leading up to it. Look at how Dianne Feinstein handled this information. Look at how they've used this information to gain political leverage in the 11th hour of the confirmation, how they've used it to try to stall. And it's basically, I almost feel sorry for this woman coming forward, although I've heard a lot of reports that she's a liberal and she's, been protesting President Trump and all this. But the reality is that even if she thinks she's doing something great, she's obviously being used by the Democrats, and it's pretty sick and sad. And then on top of that, you go back 35 years to when a guy's in high school and he may or may not have done something, but there's no corroborating witnesses. She doesn't even remember the full story. It's just like, in Stormy Daniels with the President Trump. Now, I'm not saying that this is anything like that, but it's like when she signed that written statement saying, oh, nothing ever happened, and then like right when it became politically expedient, she came out with her creepy porn lawyer and started doing the media circuits, just like, and if you guys haven't seen Tucker Carlson basically destroy him in the interview, you got to go see it. It's great. But that's exactly what this reminds me of, and a lot of people are making the comparison back to a former Supreme Court justice's confirmation where Anita Hill came out. But the reality is this is a little different, but they're always a little bit different, but it's always the same because it's a tactic, it's a stalling tactic, and that's what we're seeing here. But Q and President Trump are telling us that it's going to be confirmation regardless. So that's good to know. Now, panic in D.C. Rod Rosenstein requested meeting number 2 with POTUS, declined. There you go. I mean, I love to hear that because it's President Trump saying no deals. We're not going to negotiate with these people because they have committed crimes and they're going to be held accountable. We're not cutting sweetheart deals in back rooms like they're used to doing with each other. When one of them gets caught, they all get together and give them a sweetheart deal and give them some public reprimand, and then they give them basically equivalent to a golden parachute to get out of it. And we're not going to do that with Rod Rosenstein. Now, here's the next one. Panic in D.C. Blackmail versus Senate and House. Bridge in metaphorical killbox fake news media being used to apply leverage against POTUS and or force immediate impeachment hearings based on mental state, potential release of state secrets, sources and methods. Q. So look, what they're doing here, and I think this is it. Q's pointing out that there's an attempt to blackmail the Senate and the House out of declassifying this information, and the bridge that is the method of transportation or getting these stories out there. I mean, think about it. It is a form of blackmail if you go to somebody and say, I'm going to run a story in the New York Times or the Washington Post that says, basically that President Trump needs to be impeached because his mental state comes into question because by declassifying this, he may be revealing sources and methods. It's kind of like a last push they're going to put out there. But when Q puts something in this metaphorical kill box or the brackets with the bold here, that means it's going to end, hopefully. And if that is the case, then that means that Q's already taken care of that and snipped that avenue for them. But they're probably going to try every trick in the book in order to get this or keep this from becoming a big story, which is why it's really frustrating because this information is going to be so big. I'm going to do my best to report on it, but if these big corporations, the corporate media, the fake news media, if they don't pick this story up or if they choose to try to squash it or try to basically sweep it under the rug, you get to the point where you have to think, what is going to happen? And we'll just have to wait and see. But to me, I mean, we're just going to, all we have to do is keep sharing this information, doing what we can, doing our own research, logically thinking, spreading it, making our friends and family aware. That's what we can do. Now, the reason why they're panicking right now, let me tell you, is because Loretta Lynch is talking, according to Q. And isn't that just a glorious thing to see? You have Loretta Lynch, the one who went to have her little private conversation with Bill Clinton in Phoenix on the tarmac. And look, this is it. If she's talking, she is a huge linchpin, no pun intended, to all of this because she was the attorney general. She was the one in charge of ordering and authorizing different things. She was the one who was allegedly offered the Supreme Court position in exchange for opening this investigation and sweeping the Hillary Clinton investigation under the rug. If she's really talking, I think that it's panic. It may be chaos in DC right now if she's really talking. So we'll have to wait and see how that manifests itself further. But the last two posts are very interesting. Panic in DC, Sessions and Huber weekend meetings. Now, you guys remember John Huber. He's the one who's working with Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, and a team of 470 investigators and doing a whole plethora of different investigations into Hillary, the emails, UMA, the Muslim Brotherhood connections, the Awan brothers, the servers, the CrowdStrike. I think all of that stuff has been under investigation for quite a while. WikiLeaks, everything. And that is what they're panicking for as well. Because if they're having weekend meetings, are you kidding me? Do you imagine? The Attorney General who's about to come back into power, and we're going to talk about that right here. Panic in D.C. Sessions classified letter to Supreme Court Justices 1 and 2 regarding recusal, unrecusal, and clarity regarding conflicts based on unclassified material today. Highest court authority approval Q. So what is this saying? It's saying Democrats, liberals, rhinos, the neocons, they should all be terrified. You know why? Because Jeff Sessions is writing a letter, apparently, to the Supreme Court to basically explain what his recusal was all about, probably give them basically the whole 411 on the Huber investigation and what's been going on behind the scenes with that and how it all ties back into the FISA, Carter Page, the basically Russia collusion investigation, the special counsel, Robert Mueller, all of that. He'll lay it out and say, look, I recused myself based on classified information that I couldn't reveal. Now I have to unrecuse myself because guess what? It's been 210 days and there is no associate or attorney general, whoever, to step in once Rod Rosenstein has to recuse himself, which is going to be, which should be pretty quickly hereafter we get this declassified information. But that is the whole 9 yards, guys. So I hope that all makes sense. I'm sure if you guys have any corrections, if you think I got something wrong, please let me know down in the comments, or if there's just you want to add on or elaborate on something that I didn't cover in depth too much. But that is pretty much where I want to leave you guys for this moment. But Before we go, obviously, a couple things that I want to remind you guys about before you leave. First of all, don't forget to come here, click the big red subscribe button if you haven't already. That helps out big time, more than you guys really could know. Also, come here, share the videos, and make sure at the end of this video, you leave your thoughts, theories, and insights down in the comments, because like I say at the end of each one of these videos, we try to have our own QAnon research board where we don't just talk about Q posts, we talk about politics, religion, culture, media, whatever. Anything is up for a fair discussion down there. So go down there and leave your comments. And even if you can't comment, scroll down and read through the comments, because I guarantee you're going to read a bunch of great information from a bunch of great people that you may not have known about previously. That being said, another great way to help the channel is to come over here to justinformednews.com. You guys can show some love to the website. All you got to do is come over here and check it out. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I've told you guys before, we're in the beta test here. I'm trying to get this website optimized to be really a functional tool for you guys. That may take a little bit of time, but for now, in the interim, you guys can definitely come over here and check it out. It's at justinformednews.com, of course, and that is very helpful. Also, if you guys want to get all the updates, like I said before earlier in the video, come over here to Justin_formed on Twitter. That's the official Justin Formed Talk page, and there's just a lot of cool stuff. You guys can see my tweets. All my videos get posted here from YouTube. All the articles from the website get posted here. It's a great place, a resource to come get the information, and some pretty funny stuff too, like this video I posted earlier, which kind of cracked me up, to be quite honest. And that being said, though, find me at Twitter at Justin_formed on Twitter. That helps out big time. Now, two more ways you can help out basically are financial, and I really appreciate it. You guys don't know what it means to get the financial support from you guys. One way, the best way, is to come over here to Patreon. It's patreon.com. And if you want to help fund Justin Formed Talk, you'll come here to patreon.com. You'll search for Justin Formed Talk, and when you come here, you click this button to become a patron. Now, what happens when you become a patron? It's a monthly donation, so you can give as little as $1 and as much as however much you want, really, on a monthly basis, and you can set it and forget it, and it helps me as a creator to fund this operation, to keep going, to do this 24/7, 365 for you guys. And I can't tell you how much it means to me when all you guys come over here and contribute to this Patreon page. So thank you so much. Now, for those of you who aren't interested in a monthly donation, I totally understand. That's why I set up this GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/just-informed. And when you come to this page, you just click this donate now button. You can make a one-time donation or an anonymous donation, but I really appreciate your generosity for that. Now, that being said, before we go, we're going to talk about God's grace and how it's greater. And this is this part of the show where I try to give some words of inspiration, words of hope, words of wisdom, and usually, I'm not talking about my wisdom, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, his wisdom, which we get through the good book here. And speaking of that, there's a piece of scripture here that I wanted to share with you guys. It's so profound that to me, it just has to be shared. And it's talking about how we should invest in life. And given everything that we go through here, especially on this channel where we talk about negative things and what you guys go through on a daily basis in your own lives, with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, coworkers, whatever it is, if you're having trouble, if you're in doubt, if it seems like things, are hard, remember that life is about hardships. We're going to go through them, but those hardships are going to build our character and are going to make us better. And even here, when in the book of Ecclesiastes, we have them telling us about how we have to invest in life, it even acknowledges that, and it shows us how we should remember God and remember that this life we have is glorious, and we have to take advantage of every day and invest in every day, because it is basically the most important thing is to invest in life so that we can be the best we can be, the most humble servants of our Lord and Savior. So here we go. Chapter 11, Ecclesiastes, verse 1, and we're going to read the whole chapter. It says, "Send your bread on the surface of the waters, for after many days you may find it. Give a portion to 7 or even 8, for you don't know what disaster may happen on earth. If the clouds are full, they will pour out rain on the earth. Whether a tree falls to the south or the north, the place where the tree falls, there it will lie. One who watches the wind will not sow, and the one who looks at the clouds will not reap. Just as you don't know the path of the wind, or how bones develop in the womb of a pregnant woman, so you don't know the work of God, who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and at evening do not let your hand rest, because you don't know which will succeed, whether one or the other, or if both or of them will be equally good. Light is sweet, and it is pleasing for the eyes to see the sun. For if a man should live many years, let him rejoice in them all, and let him remember the days of darkness, since they will be many. All that comes is futile. Rejoice, young man, while you are young, and let your heart be glad in the days of your youth, and walk in the ways of your heart and in the sights of your eyes. But know that for all these things God will bring you to judgment. Remove sorrow from your heart and put away pain from your flesh, because youth and the prime of life are fleeting. And I know that if you read that a certain way, it may sound like it's not the most uplifting and positive message, but it truly is. It's a message of taking advantage of every day, making the most out of everything we do, not spending our time idly obsessing about things we can't control, whether, as it says here, whether the seed will grow or not. For if we don't even sow the seeds, then we'll never know. But even after we sow the seeds, if we spend all of our waking moments worried about whether or not they will come to fruition, then we'll miss out on the most important thing, which is living our lives every day, living our lives to the most for God, and understanding that what's most important is not what happens here on earth, but how will we be judged on that final day when we meet God? How will our whole lives come back and show God who we are? And what do we want that to represent? What do we want that to look like? And I know for me, I just want it to be a life of good deeds, a life of honesty, a life of righteousness, a life of humble servitude, a life of loving, caring, and all of those great, great things that God gives us the ability to do if we just embrace Him. And so to me, I've put my whole life to God, and I attribute every single success and blessing I have to God's great grace and His great plan that I know is going to unfold for me in its own time according to God's will. And if I put my faith in that and everything that I do, no matter what I have, no matter where I'm at, as long as I have God, I'll be all right. And I think that we can all think that way, and it might help. So that's about going to do it. I want to say thank you all for watching. Remember, God's grace is greater, and God is with you in everything that you do. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Come here, click that big red subscribe button. But other than that, thank you for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.